So this video is basically about my cycling journey. This journey began a couple of years back when I met a few avid cyclists who were cycling long distances on the weekends. And what initially began as a hobby became a very integral part of my life later on. And that was because at that point life had become very monotonous. It was a routine of going from your matchbox house to your cubicle office every day. And when I began weekends of cycling long distances, which was nothing less than 50 kilometers in a day every Sunday, I started to meet new people. I got a new fitness regimen and also an opportunity to see new places. So this gradually became a way of life for me. Okay, so now let me tell you a little bit about my partner in crime. That's my bike. That is the Merida Crossway 20. So the Merida Crossway 20, which you can see right now, is basically made by a Taiwan company that is called Merida, obviously. And this company has its main R&D in Taiwan, although it manufactures bikes for around 77 countries around the world. So it's a leading manufacturer of bicycles. And the positive things about this cycle are that it is extremely light. It weighs less than 15 kgs, and that's mainly because it has been made up of aluminium alloy. This alloy is 1/3 in density of that of steel, although the strength to density ratio is way higher as compared to steel. Therefore, aluminium bikes are lighter and more sturdy than those bikes which are made up of steel. So the whole frame, that is the top tube, the down tube, the saddle tube, the saddle post, all of these, the handlebars, these are all made up of aluminium and are super light. Okay, now moving on to the tires. Well, the tires for this bike are by a company called Kenda. Kenda is also a Taiwan-based company, and it is a leading manufacturer of tires around the world. Now, the tire size for this particular cycle is by ISO standards. It has a diameter, a bead seed diameter, which means that the diameter which is around the rim of the cycle is 622 millimeters, while the width of the tire is 42 millimeters. However, the inflated tire diameter, which is of the outside of the cycle, is 700 millimeters, and in inches that comes to well, it is mentioned also over here, 28 in diameter and 5/8 in width. So next is the gear set. The bike has basically 3 gears in the front and 8 at the back, giving you a total of 24 gears. That is a lot of variability and allows you to drive in different terrains. The gears can be easily changed right from the handlebar where the gear levers are. The next feature in this bike is the derailleurs. Well, the front and the back derailleur both are of the brand called Shimano. So Shimano is basically Japanese-based company. It is a leading manufacturer of different cycle components and is selling these components all around the world. So as you can see at the back, the derailleur is Shimano Acera. It is supposedly one of the best derailleurs which are currently being used in bikes. Next, moving on to the brake set. Well, this bike has a V brake, which means that it has brake pads, as you can see, which are on either side of the tire. So when the brakes are applied from the handlebar, what happens is that the brake pads both compress on the tire and then make it stop. So that's how a V brake basically works. And so the brake on this bike is extremely effective. Just by putting a little pressure on the handlebar, on the brake lever, the bike comes to a complete stop. So another feature of this bike is that both the tires are detachable. There's a simple mechanism, there's a screw which, if opened, the tire can be detached. So it's a simple mechanism. I'll be showing it to you in another video of mine. However, after disassembling both of these tires, it can be easily put in a car and reassemble wherever you plan to ride. So some of the accessories that I have on my bike are, for example, the odometer. This basically is required for a long ride when you want to assess the number of kilometers that you have already ridden on the bike. Second is obviously the bottle holder, which helps you. I have two of them on my bike. They help me to basically carry water bottles in these. So this water is something that you need when you're riding long distance. And other than that, I have a small pouch which is attachable. It can be detached, and this is required to carry few small things that you need, maybe money, maybe your phone. So as you can see, the bike is loaded with features, and I've been riding it for more than 3 years now, and it has made my whole riding experience effortless. I can ride long kilometers easily on it, and really I have no complaints. So this Merida is definitely a great option if you are planning to ride on city roads and not too much of off-roading, because this hybrid is perfect for that. So another feature of the bike is the suspension. As you can see on the front fork, there is suspension that is present. So basically this is a good feature, especially for Indian roads, because you never know when a crater or a bump will come your way. However, they have provided a lock, so in case you do not want the suspension, you can lock it, for example in a uphill ride. There is suspension also available on the saddle post, so therefore this makes the whole riding experience even more pleasurable.